Good morning, Bucknutters. Welcome to the Bucknuts Morning 5 here on Tuesday, February 20th, 2024. I am Dave Biddle, flying solo on today's show. Dan Rubin's a little under the weather. Hopefully he'll be back with you guys Thursday. I'll be with you again tomorrow. A surprisingly big day on the Ohio State football beat. We learned yesterday, a little surprise here. We're going to meet with James Laurinaitis, the freshly minted linebackers coach, getting that promotion from grad assistant to linebackers coach. And also Matt Guerrieri coming in as safeties coach, a guy that was Indiana's D coordinator last year, was Duke's co-defensive coordinator after Jim Knowles left Duke for Oklahoma State, worked with Knowles before that, was here at Ohio State a couple years ago as an analyst, a senior analyst. And it's great to have Matt. I think Matt Guerrieri is actually we'll talk about this later. I think that's an under-the-radar, really good hire. I mean, this guy is an Ohio native, only 34 years old. Again, already has defensive coordinator experience in the Big Ten. I mean, Indiana, but still. Anyway, I love how that he's here as safeties coach. All right, a lot to get into. Appreciate you guys joining me. So we're going to meet with those guys at 11 a.m. today over at the WAC. So that'll be cool. All right, I want to let you guys know about our returning sponsor, Manscaped. 2024 is here in full swing, and that means it's time for a New Year's resolution check-in with our friends at Manscaped. Newsflash, it's never too late to level up your grooming game and keep yourself tamed. Manscaped's new Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra is every man's cheat code to look good, feel good, and turn the page on confidence this year. Whether you're going for a trim or that clean-shaven look, this trimmer has you covered. Trusted by over 10 million men worldwide, now is your time to get a grip on your grooming with our exclusive offer. Go to manscaped.com and use code BUCKNUTS for 20% off plus free shipping. The ball has dropped, but don't drop the ball on your balls. Manscaped has a lot of other great products as well. I'm personally a big fan of their beard trimmer. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code BUCKNUTS at manscaped.com. Embrace a new you and definitely embrace a new trimmer courtesy of Manscaped. Again, 20% off, free shipping with the code BUCKNUTS at manscaped.com. All right, let's get to it. I am curious to see if Ohio State's linebackers are national championship quality this year. Is the depth there? Is the talent there? I like that James Laurinaitis is going to be coaching them up, and obviously Jim Knowles is going to be heavily involved in all things linebackers as well. And there's only 2 starting linebackers, so that helps them. That does mitigate my depth concerns. But let's get into it. Let's dive right into it. All right. Cody Simon, the veteran of the group, 5th-year senior, played a lot last year. Was basically the number 3 linebacker last year. And it wasn't close. I mean, he got almost starter snaps, especially toward the end of the year. So I like that he's coming back as a 5th-year senior. You got to think he's going to be one of the starters. Now, who's going to step up as that other starter? And how good is Cody Simon going to be as a 5th-year senior? Is he going to be okay, or is he going to be like, oh, this is a guy that's really helping them? I lean toward the latter. I don't think he's going to be just a jag, just a guy. I don't think he's going to be a jag, but I also don't think he's going to be elite. But I do think he can be, as a 5th-year senior, a guy that can, we look at him and it's like, okay, number 30 is out there helping the team as usual. Like, he's an asset. And if he can be elite as a 5th-year senior, all the better. So, and he stayed healthy this past year, but he's also, dealt with injuries in the past. So that's a minor concern. Again, going back to the depth, because they need Cody Simon. I mean, he's the veteran. He's played the most snaps. He's not just the veteran in terms of age, which he is, 5th-year senior, oldest guy in the room, at least as far as the scholarship guys. They're bringing in the 6th-year senior Velasquez for Michigan as a walk-on. He's just going to be a depth guy and a special teams guy. I don't think he's going to factor in the plans of linebacker at all. But Cody Simon's a guy, he's got the most snaps of any of the linebackers, and he's the oldest of any of the scholarship linebackers. So he needs to be a dude. Okay. All right. Now, who's going to step up as the second starting linebacker? That's a huge question. And we should know, doesn't mean we will, we should know leaving spring. And we will at least have a good idea. Leaving spring, not when spring begins, because their depth chart's always you got to take it with a whole container of salt, whole shaker of salt when the depth charts come out in spring ball. Anyway, is it going to be CJ Hicks? His 3rd year. He's finally going to step up and be that guy that we've been waiting for, former 5-star. Is it going to be Gabe Powers, also entering his 3rd year? former high 4-star, both Ohio kids, and both guys that continue. Every time I see them, they just look a little bigger. And, I think one of those guys, and hopefully both of them, step up this year. And then Sonny Styles. Those are the three that I wrote down. That doesn't mean that some of the other guys can't get in it. Nigel Glover. We forget about Nigel Glover. He'll be a redshirt freshman, a guy that committed to Northwestern, actually enrolled there, and then transferred to Ohio State after the Pat Fitzgerald stuff. So Nigel Glover's got 4 years left. Arvell Reese is another guy I think people forget. He came in as a linebacker, Glenville kid, had to play some defensive end because of injuries, depth issues there. Didn't play a lot on defense, but did play a lot on special teams. I believe they're going to keep him. They're going to move him back to linebacker now. So he's another guy to keep in mind. Arvell Reese, a lot of talent there. All right. So C.J. Hicks, Gabe Powers, Sonny Styles. And it's important to point out, they have not said officially Sonny Styles is moving to linebacker. It just makes too much sense. He can't be a bench guy. I'll talk a little bit about the safeties later. It's funny, the title of the show is Are Ohio State's linebackers national championship caliber? Question mark, right? Like, we shall see on that. You notice I didn't add, are the safeties national championship caliber? Because they are, my friends. Caleb Downs, Lathan Ransom. And I don't know if Sonny Styles for sure is going to move to linebacker. It just makes too much sense because he can't be a backup. I know he didn't light the world on fire as a sophomore, but let's keep in mind he should have been a true freshman this past year. He reclassified, so he's entering his third year, though. Could be his last year. I thought that was a definite entering last year that he'd be 3 and done. Now I don't know. We'll see. Maybe he's going to move around like the Simmons kid at Clemson a few years ago, who the Cardinals used an early first-round pick on. Hasn't worked out in the NFL, but he was a good player at Clemson, really good player. Maybe he'll kind of be a jack-of-all-trades guy, can play linebacker, can rush off the edge, can go back and play some strong safety. Although if Lathan Ransom's going to be, that bandit, and Caleb Downs is going to be the adjuster. And now Jordan Hancock is obviously the slot, whether you want to consider that a safety or a corner. It's irrelevant. So those are your three starting safeties are locked in. So it makes sense that Sonny Styles would go to linebacker. We'll find out today, maybe from James Laurinaitis. Now James is not just a great guy and was a great player, and I think it's going to be a great linebacker coach and recruiter and all that. He's also very smart. He's going to not tell us, too much. It's not like anybody's going to trick James Laurinaitis into talking too much. But, I think I think he'll be willing to get into that, though. Maybe not definitively, but, certainly I'm going to ask him that question. And I might not, because people might get to it before I do. But that would be my first question. James, is Sonny Styles moving to linebacker? And if you don't know yet, is that a strong possibility? At least I just want to, and then there's got to be follow-up questions. What would make him a good linebacker? What would he still need to work on? Things like that. And then we're going to get Guerrieri too, so we can ask him about it. He's probably going to say, don't take Sonny Styles away from me. What are you doing? I just got here. He's going to say, I just got here. Don't take Sonny Styles away from me. And then the bosses are going to be like, no, we're taking him away from you. We need him at linebacker. So we'll see. Be good seeing a Styles at linebacker again. It's going back. Lorenzo Styles Sr. was a good one at Ohio State. 3 and done. Really good. His last 2-year starter. Really, really good. Really good, especially his junior year. I believe what was Lorenzo? Was he a second-round pick by the Falcons? Something like that. He won a first-rounder. Second, maybe third. I think he was a second-round pick. Lorenzo Styles Sr. was a dude. It's not surprising. Apple doesn't fall far from the tree with Sonny Styles. And Lorenzo Styles Jr., we'll see about him. He's going to just add depth at corner, and will play all over special teams. They were able to redshirt him last year, so that's cool. So he's got 2 years left, and so does Sonny. We'll see if Sonny uses those 2 years, but Lorenzo Styles Jr. has 2 years left. So I don't know. So we'll see. One of these guys needs to step up, either Sonny, C.J. Hicks, or Gabe Powers. And I think that's highly likely that one of those three will step up and be like a guy. It seems like the odds would be in the favor there. You got 2 5-stars and you got a high 4-star. It's not just their recruiting rankings. You've seen development with those guys. C.J. Hicks has come along a lot slower than anybody expected, myself included. He did come from a smallish high school. I mean, Kettering alters for a small school. I mean, they're fantastic. I grew up near that area, so I know a lot about them. That's a really good program. and Ohio State's had many players from Alter over the years. But it's still like D3 in Ohio, and he was more of like a safety, a rover back, and getting used to. And he came in about 210 pounds or something like that, 215 maybe. You got to get, being a Big Ten linebacker is the real deal. So, but now he's in his third year. So CJ Hicks just seems like a guy that, to me, it's not now or never. We're not gonna kick him off the team if he's not a starter this year. But third year, it seems like it's his time. If it's not Sonny Styles, and Gabe Powers, I think, is a guy that still has a lot of potential. So has 3 years left. Redshirted, played a little bit last year, wearing that number 36. That Chris Spielman, Marcus Merrick, and many others. Tom Cousineau, Brian Rolls. Time to get another really good 36 linebacker for the Buckeyes. Brian Roll was really, really good. I probably shouldn't throw him in with those legends, but Roll was still really good, though. So I'll be nice to Roll here on this Tuesday morning. All right, so we'll see. Those are the three you got to look at. Okay, again, CJ Hicks, Gabe Power, Sonny Styles. One of those guys really needs to step up, and if all three of them do, that's huge because we need a two deep. There's going to be the two starters, and then who's going to be the two deep? Who's going to fill out the two deep? I would think the two guys that don't win the starting job between those three guys that I just mentioned. But Nigel Glover is another guy that's going to be in the mix. Okay, Arvell Reese is going to be in the mix, and then the seventh scholarship linebacker is Peyton Pierce, but, true freshman. I think he's going to be a good one. But true freshman, you can't count on a true freshman to come in. If he does, great. I know James Laurinaitis loves him, so that says a lot. But it's going to be tough to play as a true freshman. So, but at least he's here. Can add some depth. Because, again, I don't love the depth here. I don't love the depth. Some of these positions – they're so deep they could even afford an injury to a top shelf guy and still be okay because they're so damn deep. Look at corner when you've got Malik Hartford. No, excuse me, not Malik Hartford. When you got Jermaine Matthews as your number 4 corner, you consider Hancock a corner. It would go Denzel Burke, Davis Igbinosun, Jordan Hancock, and then Jermaine Matthews. He's your number 4 corner. Then Calvin Simpson Hunt, then Lorenzo Styles Jr., and then maybe the incoming freshman. It's just crazy. And obviously, I don't even want to name a name, but if one of those, guys got hurt, they got the depth to fill. Now they can't lose multiple guys at a certain. But you can say the same thing at defensive end, for example. I love the backups there too. Not that you want to lose anybody. The point is, depth is huge in football. It's huge in every sport, but definitely in football, especially now the season's going to be a lot longer. It's another reason I love to flip briefly to the offensive side of the ball here on the show. That's why I love having Trey Henderson and Quinshon Judkins. You need 2 running backs. And I love that both those guys understand that. They're not like, oh, I got to be the guy. I got to be the guy that's getting 25 carries a game. They understand that too much wear and tear in the tires is not good. Not good. But, all right. So, yeah, I don't love the depth, but no, it's not terrible because there was only 2 starters again. There are linebackers. And they got 7. But that's including Peyton Pierce. So, I don't know. We'll see. The depth seems a little lacking. If they stay healthy, I think they're going to be more than fine. And to answer my question, I do think they'll be national championship caliber because of the defense they're on. Not that they are going to be the ones that carry this defense. The defensive line is going to be fantastic. The secondary might be the best we've seen. You guys have heard me talk about that. I don't say that lightly. I know about 1996. That's my gold standard. As I always say, if Antoine Winfield is a sophomore, and he was really good as a sophomore, if Antoine Winfield is your number 3 corner, you're stacked. Sean Springs and Ty Howard were the starters, and Antoine Winfield was the nickel and the number 3 corner as a sophomore, and he was fantastic. This might be better than that one, which is insane to me. I never thought we'd see one better. In 2016 was really good. Malik Hooker and the guys, Marshawn Lattimore. That thing was just that secondary had 3 first-round picks in it. And Garyon Conley was in that secondary. 4 Denzel Ward, sophomore Denzel Ward. So 2016 is also on the very, very, very short list. Some might argue it's better than 96, but I will fight you on that. No, seriously, that was a great one. And 2019 was a really, really good one too. With Okudah and the guys, Jordan Fuller and those guys, Sean Wade. That was a really good one. Okudah hasn't worked out for him in the NFL, I think, mostly because of injuries. I think he had an Achilles early in his time with the Lions, but still, he was like the number 3 overall pick. So it shows you how good he was, especially his last year at Ohio State. So there's been some really good secondaries, but I think this one might take the cake. So that's going to help the linebackers be national championship caliber because they just need to be good. Okay, that's what I mean by national championship caliber. When you got a great defensive line, you got perhaps the best secondary we've seen at Ohio State, which you could argue is DBU, so it's saying a massive amount. The linebackers just need to be good. They can't be average. They certainly can't be a liability, but they need to be good. They don't even have to be elite, although that'd be fantastic. All right. Let me let you know about our other returning sponsor. You guys are awesome because we got word that you guys are buying from nuts.com and they've re-upped. And again, it's very fitting. It's not lost on me. Bucknuts and nuts.com. And Manscaped, I mean, it just kind of all fits together, does it not, my friends? But nuts.com, they're back with a great offer, and I appreciate you guys sponsoring them, buying from them, and I really appreciate that. So let's get to the great offer you guys can get from nuts.com and their message to you guys. Do you wish you could go to Willy Wonka's Candy Factory? Well, since that's not exactly possible, let me introduce you to the online version of that, nuts.com. Nuts.com is your one-stop shop for freshly roasted nuts, dried fruit, sweets, pantry staples like specialty flours, and more. Their wide selection means there's something for everyone. At Nuts.com, quality is a top priority. They roast their nuts and pop their corn the same day it ships, so they reach you deliciously fresh. Satisfaction is guaranteed. I love a bunch of their products, like the half pop popcorn, which is unique. I've never seen it before. Half pop popcorn. You know, if you get you make popcorn, you get popcorn that's got those ones that are not the kernels, but they're kind of half popped, and I like those. They're not the ones that are going to break your teeth. They're just kind of perfect. I love those. And they make these. I don't know how they make them, but they do, and they're fantastic. I like the half pop popcorn. I recommend that. I like the root beer barrels, old school. I love that. And I love their roasted almonds. Oh, so much more too. And right now, nuts.com is offering new customers a free gift with your purchase and free shipping on orders of $29 or more at nuts.com/bucknuts. So go check out all the delicious options at nuts.com/bucknuts. You'll receive a free gift and free shipping when you spend $29 or more. Once again, that's nuts.com/bucknuts. That won't be hard to remember. Nuts.com/bucknuts. And no, we are not the same company. We're just happy to be affiliated with them that they're one of our great sponsors. It just cracks me up. Manscaped and nuts.com for Bucknuts. Just perfection. All right. Speaking of perfection, Ohio State safeties. I mean, I was already bullish on them before the Caleb Downs awesomeness happened. Still can't believe that happened. He's going to be an immediate superstar. I know most of you know that, but mark my words, he's going to be an immediate superstar. And to most of you, that's certainly not breaking news, to say the least. He's going to come in here as a sophomore and just be a stud. And then Lathan Ransom coming back as a fifth-year senior. I love that. He's going to be the bandit, the strong safety. Caleb Downs is going to be the adjuster. He's going to be adjusting a lot of wide receivers' days in a bad way. He's going to be adjusting their bodies and their production in a negative way for them. I can't wait to see it. And didn't return a lot of punts at Alabama last year, but when he did, he was very good at it, and I would love to see him be the Buckeyes punt returner. While still not full-time, I don't need him returning every punt that's meaningful. And I like that Jaden Ballard has that role. And while he didn't break one, he was close a couple times, and I don't think he dropped one. So I think that's good to have Jaden Ballard has that role because I don't know how much he's going to play at wide receiver with Emeka and Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate and Brandon Ennis. And that might be the top four. Not necessarily in that order, but I think Emeka will be number one, but then we'll see about the other three. Kind of interchangeable in my opinion. Not necessarily their positions, but man. So I think Jaden Ballard's probably going to be that number 5 receiver unless there's an injury to one of those guys, but I digress. So these safeties, I'm looking forward to talking to Matt Guerrieri today about a few different things. I'm curious, just about a lot of things. I think this is a guy people aren't talking about enough. Young guy, 34, again, and a native of Ohio, already has coordinator experience, co-defensive coordinator for 4 years at Duke. I'm not sure if it was the if he was the guy, when you have these co-defensive coordinators, there's usually one guy who's really the guy who's calling the shots. I'm not sure if that was Guerrieri or the other guy, but 4 years at Duke after Knowles left, he was the safeties coach under Knowles at Duke. And when Knowles went to Oklahoma State, Guerrieri, again, if you're just tuning in, became the co-defensive coordinator for the Blue Devils for 4 years, came here to Ohio State for a year as a high-level analyst, a senior analyst, and went to Indiana last year as defensive coordinator under Tom Allen. Maybe Tom Allen was calling the defense, but still, that's pretty good. At the age of 33, he was a D coordinator in the Big Ten. I like this. And he's coming here as safeties coach. I really like this. And obviously, Knowles loves him because Knowles is okay. Handpicked him to come here when Knowles was here, worked with him at Duke. So looking forward to speaking with Guerrieri today. And, talk about just, I'm sure others are going to joke with him about this too. Talk about just, inheriting riches. He's like, geez, coming in here born with a silver spoon in his mouth, couldn't get any. When you get Caleb Downs, Lathan Ransom, your backups. I mean, think about it. Malik Hartford looked good to me as a true freshman, and it's hard to play safety as a true freshman. And then entering his second year, he'd typically be a starter. He's a backup. Jahad Carter was a good player at Syracuse. He's a backup. It's crazy. So you don't just have two high-level starters. And Sonny Styles might still be a safety. We don't even know that for sure. It just makes sense that he would be a linebacker. But we'll find out what Coach Laurinaitis and Coach Guerrieri have to say today here in just, a little over an hour. Yeah, well, hour and a half. We're going to meet with them about 11 a.m. Eastern time. So about an hour and 40 minutes to be exact from now. But a lot of you who are listening to the podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get podcasts from, you might be listening to this after that. So, but try to make this timeless. And I'll obviously get on Bucknuts. We're going to have videos of everything James Laurinaitis says, everything Matt Guerrieri says, stories, and more. Patrick Murphy and I will both be over there covering that for the site. So there you go. I think Ohio State safeties are it's unbelievable how stacked they are as far as the starters. And then you even look at the backups. So, and Caleb Downs, to me, that's just still almost too good to be true. And again, Lathan Ransom, I thought after he got hurt was just going to go try his hand at the NFL. But, he was like many of his teammates coming back for one more ride. I love it. This roster is stacked, and Ryan Day's put together a hell of a coaching staff. So there you go. There's our deep dive on the linebackers and a little bit of the safeties sprinkled in. Looking forward to talking with Laurinaitis and Guerrieri over there tomorrow. So keep it locked to Bucknuts for that. Really appreciate you guys joining me. Hope everyone has a great rest of your day.